Hello, everyone. This is the Affordable Housing Review Board, and today is March 24th, 2025, and it is 1:01 p.m., and we'll go ahead and start the meeting. The agenda is a packed one. So first off, we'll start with roll call, then approval of meeting minutes, housing development loan program applications, affordable housing fund review, Zoom grants overview, affordable housing fund applicant presentations, other business and open discussion, then adjourn. So for roll call, do I have a motion to begin roll call?
I'll make a motion.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Rebecca Starkey Kiesling. Present. Miranda Penner. Here. Troy Palmer.
Present.
Tracy Terrell.
Present.
Valerie Black.
Here.
Jack Silvers. And that concludes our roll call. So we do have a quorum. So since we have a quorum, I'd like to motion to approve the meeting minutes.
I make a motion that we approve the meeting minutes as read.
All in, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
So the next part of our agenda is the Housing Development Loan Program applications. We had two presentations from our last board meeting. The first presentation was from Commonwealth Development, Art River Residences at 5136 South Broadway. It's new construction with 42-unit multifamily. Home funds that are requested are $420,000. Home application funding as part of 2025 tax credit application process for a total development cost of $12,522,310. The second presentation that took place was from 212 North Market LLC for 212 North Market, located at 212 North Market. New construction, part of the existing structure, 68 units, multifamily. The home funds requested are $680,000. Home application funding as part of 2025 tax credit application process. Total development cost, $19,806,028. So next is the board discussion and motion. We as staff recommend approval of the Home Investment Partnership Program funding allocations of $420,000 to Commonwealth Development Corporation and $680,000 to 212 North Market LLC, and submit the recommendation for a conditional commitment of funds to the Wichita City Council. And I open it up for discussion and votes.
I would move that we approve both. I would second that.
I did have one question that I thought of from the last meeting when we reviewed that. And the question is more like the logistics part of it. If we approve those conditionally and those funds get set aside for that, how long before they no longer need those, like, let's say they, for example, the second one doesn't get approved, then what's the, when do we find out otherwise, so those funds could then be released out for other projects?
So that these applications are from the 2025 period. We expect that the KHRC, the Kansas Housing Resources Corporation, will make their decision on those in July of this year. So it will be, these funds will be conditioned on receiving that LIHTC allocation by the state. So by July, we should know whether or not those will be needed. And if not, then they would be re-put back out into the market.
Okay,
Yep.
Perfect. That was my question. Thanks.
I just had a scoring question on Commonwealth Ark River Residences. Did anyone else find or am I having a tech issue on their 20-year pro forma? Did you only see 6 years? Does anyone recall? Just from a scoring perspective, my spreadsheet only went to 6 years. I can't imagine that's correct.
If I remember right, I remember seeing 20 years. It might be a formatting issue on Excel.
Guessing it was.
I'm pulling it up right now just to double check.
Okay, thank you. I'm guessing it was my desktop computer just said no thank. Sheet.
Yeah, if I can chime in, this is Liz Peterson. I'm with criminal development. So we did submit a 20-year pro forma in an Excel format.
Okay, thank you. Oh, I can see it now. Perfect, thank you.
Any further discussion? Motion to approve,
You've had two motions.
2 motions, okay, well, we've approved, okay,
Thank you. Now
We're
vote
doing
a
a
little
little back.
I need to do a vote.
okay. I call for a vote,
All in favor?
all in favor? Say aye.
Hi.
Aye.
Anybody opposed?
Anyone opposed?
Motion passes 6-0.
Thank you, Sally.
Yeah, it's okay.
That's okay.
Did you not vote that way, Tracy?
I did. I'm just saying,
She was
like,
comforting
I'm
me.
still new.
She was
Yeah.
comforting me.
I'm okay.
I thought maybe I missed it.
Okay. Next, the Affordable Housing Fund review. So the current competitive application, the application window closed on February 28th. Staff reviews and technical corrections the first 2 weeks of March. 56 single-family homes with a total appraisal value of $3,681,200. $2,240,000 is available for applications during this round. $40,000 per unit. 93 applications were received from 6 developers. Applications received on 48 of the 56 units. The Affordable Housing Fund funds must be accessed by eligible users. For development projects, this includes both non and for-profit developers who have the following: a track record of completing renovation, rehab, and/or new construction projects within a reasonable timeline, demonstrated and established capacity to complete development projects within 1 year for rehab projects and 18 months for new construction projects. Developers must be in good standing with all existing funding commitments. The affordable outcomes for sale with 0% interest, forgivable loans, secured with a lien on the property, and forgiven after assisted household has resided in the home for 10 years. Home buyers will be required to utilize the city's home ownership aid program for down payment assistance. For rentals, they must utilize a program that places a long-term affordability requirements on the property for a minimum of 15 years. Examples include tenant-based vouchers, and we have approximately 28 available. So for scoring, the proposed score, overall application, 70% includes the following sections: overarching development plan, credentials and expertise of development team, financial condition and performance record, sources of financing, affirmative marketing plan, woman or minority-owned business. Per unit applications is 30%, and those sections include complete unit development plan, feasibility of proposed project scope and timeline, per unit development plan and timelines, including per unit project costs, sources of financing, proposed affordable housing fund amount requested. Bonus scores for projects proposing 6+ units. So we're going to move into the presentations. I would ask everyone presenting, make sure you're speaking into the microphone so those that are listening in on Teams can hear you clearly.
Also, real quick, this is Troy. Can you turn on your video there so we can see? Please.
1 second, let me check. Can you see? Well,
We want to share.
can you see now?
Yes, I can see now. Thank
Sorry
you.
about that.
That's okay. Thank you.
So the first presentation is going to be from Beacon Property Group LLC.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Alfredo Zampaggio. Matt Thibault here. Our two other members are in the back. So to give you a little bit of background about, Beacon is a new company, but individually we've been doing this for a while. We came together for a mission and really the vision that we have to help those that underserved. And that goes a little bit farther too, because I'm an immigrant from Argentina. I became a U.S. citizen in 2009. When I moved here to this country, I was only twice. So that has a lot of really the reasoning behind the mission of kind of the things that we're doing. I'm not going to deny I'm a little nervous, so forgive me if I'm stuttering or if I just say something that is not doesn't flow correctly, because my accent would come alive. Okay, so we really came together to really face some of the challenges, and we're not going to deny that we are investors, and then we after the profit as well. But at the same time, having the mission behind it has a strong, really, it gives us a lot of fuel whenever we are approaching some of the projects. We recently purchased 4 properties from the city. They're already in Section 8. We applied for another 6 properties, for the city as well. We got granted 2 of them. Granted is a loose term, because we didn't have any, pretty much funding with these houses. But we were very happy that, to be able to work with the city on these projects. Okay, so we proposing work on 11 properties. We focus on the North Ash Street, and the idea behind the North Ash, kind of what the discussion was, to be able, our idea is to really get a street and bring it back to life, and then bring it back to safety. And we're going to discuss a little bit how are we going to be able to do that, and our vision, right? We've done, renovations, and we really focus on that area of town, and that's kind of some of the houses are currently are. And then there's a stigma, and this is something that we're trying to break. There's a stigma on those neighborhoods that we believe is wrong, because whenever we drive to this, and we drive all our properties, but when we drive to those areas, you see houses being remodeled left and right. You have new constructions. So, I think it's really, we need to try to break, and I think that comes whenever we're going to work together. So the idea behind the North Ash was, what about if we put, ring cameras on our houses, right? So our model is going to be, we're going to hold these properties and we're going to rent them for Section 8 individuals, or housing choice, right? But beyond that, and whenever we started this together with, MTC, which was Matt and Cecilia, and now that we became Beacon, the idea was like, we want to provide dignity of living to these individuals. It was, it's really easy to get a property and kind of just touch it up a little bit. And we've seen it as investors, we've seen a lot of that, and it's easy to put it on the market. And then, these people living in places that it should not be approved. So whenever we came together, the very first thing we discussed is like, we're not going to cut corners anywhere in terms of how we do our renovations, regardless what we're going to use it for, regardless if it's going to be for housing choice or regardless it's going to be for a regular renter, right? But our goal, our approach was already to do housing choice. So then we go extreme on our renovations. Extreme meaning we're not going to make it luxury, but whatever renovation, we do electrical, plumbing, HVAC, everything. And you've seen some of these conditions of these houses, particularly the ones that have the city that have no people lived in a long time. You need a new AC unit because a lot of them have been installed. You need, a new heater. And so by default, you almost have to have a new electrical and new plumbing and new flooring, So really, people can say, okay, you can go this, you can just touch it up. But the reality is like, how are we going to give dignity of living to somebody if we don't really go all the way out and really provide that value for those individuals? So this is kind of pretty much in a nutshell, and I know we only have 10, 15 minutes, and it is kind of hard for me to really verbalize everything that, the application went through, right? But the main thing is some of these have, all roofs. So roof repairs, we're going to have the plumbing, electrical. The one thing that it really was kind of different that we decided to do is to provide safety in the neighborhood and kind of just to have more eyes was the Ring camera. We're not going to deny that's something that we tested because we haven't tested that, right? So we're still trying to figure things out in terms of how that's going to work and how we're going to apply and how we're going to execute. But really everything is becoming a little bit simple with technology. And also with check and balances because we want those individuals that live in this place. We want to change the face of how the stigma is seen on those neighborhoods. We almost have to really create the safety that some of the individuals want to live there. And the final message on this is just, we really just want to provide value. We really appreciate kind of what the city is doing, not only with this, because I think it doesn't matter regardless of what happened in here. I think all of the panelists are after the same mission, which is provide value to the individuals, elevate the community of Wichita, and really provide and create an impact over time. So that's kind of pretty much what my message. I don't know if my partner has anything to say here, but I'm kind of really talking fast because I don't know what the 10 minutes is or the 5 minutes or the 15 minutes. So I apologize. But really, our focus is to serve the underserved, and we're just grateful to even just be standing here presenting this project, regardless of the outcome it's going to be. I don't know if you guys have any questions.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you for your presentation. The next presentation is Hope Community Development Corporation.
Good afternoon. Reverend Dr. Kevis J. Harding. I am the lead pastor of Delrose United Methodist Church. I am also the executive director of Hope CDC, which is Hope Community Development Corporation. We are a 501c3 nonprofit. I have a team, and I will give my presentation. I will invite them to come up. We'll do it in roll call. We have Guy Bell, who will come after I speak. We'll then have, after Guy Bell, we'll then have Steve Philmeyer will come and speak. And after Steve Philmeyer, we'll have Kevin Butler will come and speak. And we do understand the time, so we all have put down about 5 minutes or 4 minutes to 5 minutes. And for me, they said, preacher, you get 3 minutes. So again, I want to let everyone know that I am from Wichita, Kansas, born and raised here in Wichita. Went to Washington Elementary, Robinson Junior High, and also Southeast High School until I went off to college, where I played college ball. I'm a former USD 259 board member for 2 terms from 2003 to 2011. I'm also a former WPD, Wichita police officer, which really is a part of the nonprofit that was birthed out of our church. Hope CDC was birthed out of our church based on my doctoral degree from United Theological Seminary in church development and community development. So this is my doctoral, is the work we're doing right now, which is community development. One of my major projects that we did early was a $2.5 million buying property at 13th and Oliver for a new Walmart. We brought that because of the food desert, and we brought that in. That commercial project was our first major big commercial project at 2.5, working with the city. And we've had one of our properties that we just sold, well, not just sold, but sold it in 2023 to our first homeowner through the Home Ownership 80 program. I'll show you the track record of commercial to working with the city from the Home Ownership 80 program, where we are still building and selling homes for first-time homeowners through the Home Ownership 80 program. We're also completed 2 of our residential homes that we are leasing. Those leasing properties are with a voucher choice. We use that with an intent. We have wraparound services for those people, a part of our nonprofit, where we are helping those who we do rent to have wraparound services so far as financial literacy. We're preparing some of those tenants to actually be homeowners eventually of the properties that we do rent. We have a total of 13 properties that we are looking at from this particular project, and we're grateful that we have the opportunity to share this project. And I love it because we're in partnership with our next presenter with Habitat Humanity. They're on the for sale side for the first time homeowners, and we're looking at more of the renting side where we actually lease and rent and in that partnership. So we have a total of 13. We're looking at 1056 North Volusia. We're looking at 1114 North Volusia. We're also looking at 2528 East Mossman. We're also looking at 2319 North Prince. We're looking at 2320 North Prince. We're also are looking at 2431 North Prince. We're also looking at 2513 East Autry. We are looking at 2713 North Estelle. We're looking at also 3615 East Levon. And we're also looking at 1545 North Harford. We're looking at also 2805 East Allen. And last but not least, we're looking at 4320 East Vesta Drive. And if you notice, I have those are all scattered. We're looking at the scattered homes that's in our community while we're in partnership with Habitat, who's working mainly with the properties off of Hyatt and Ash as well, with those creating that one community. And so we are doing a total remodeling from studs up, a total new project. You'll hear all of that. I wanted to let my team give you the detail. I'm just excited to be a team player and let others come speak on behalf of the whole community. But I will close with this, that our vision as a nonprofit 501c3, hope, first of all, coming from the Jeremiah 29:11, to give you a future and a hope. And that's where we get our name, Hope. Hope means nothing more than helping other people excel. And our vision is to give hope in the future by building up low to moderate income communities. And our mission is to provide housing and housing assistance for low to moderate income individuals and families where they can be safe, fulfilled, a place where they can grow educationally and beyond and be safe as well. That is who Hope is. We thank you. And now we'll let our next presenter, my COO, which is Guy Bell, to give you a little more. And I did click the clicker. Is there a way to move the presentation for it. I didn't see it. Okay, right there. So you got all my part one more time. So you got my part, and that's the zip codes that we're working with as well, and what we've already done. And we also have duplexes and triplexes that we are presently building right now off of hydraulic.
Okay, so I'm gonna talk about the numbers, and I will be brief. The pastor presented the case for what we're doing with all of you and then for our investors. What I'm gonna speak to now is the investor part. The top of the line here is the cost of the 13 units that Pastor had mentioned, and the bottom is how we are coming about to pay for this. And it's a coupling of equity and also debt. And I'll point out a few areas that I just wanted to emphasize. One is the cash equity portion with the Phil Meyer Family Office and Hope. And then the other is the equity also from the Phil Meyer Family Office. They have a Wichita Affordable Housing Fund that they're helping us out with. So that's been a huge benefit, and without everybody's participation, this would not be possible. So the cost per square foot analysis, I'll let you take a look at this and top to bottom, with a couple call outs on the right-hand side. It's $240 a square foot all in. I'm going to go to the next slide now and give you kind of a minus the offsets, which is the more accurate number because of the investments made here in capital side. And you see it's $200 with a couple of key points. Obviously, your investment is part of the offset, and so is our roll-in with our capital that we're not going to pay ourselves for the project as a part of the benefit to the overall project. So a $200 square foot cost in total. And now I'm going to hand it off to Steve to finish off the numbers that we have for you today to talk about some more detail.
I'll be brief. My name is Steve Fellmeyer. I'm here in a couple capacities. One, Fellmeyer Family Office putting equity against this project, $150,000, and if necessary, we'll do more. You know, I know Kevin's talked about hope, providing hope. I'm here to provide certainty. That this project's not going to fail financially. I was CFO for Coke for 21 years, so I've got a background in doing projects similar to these. It's got more zeros at Coke. This is very similar though with just less zeros. And structure very carefully the debt to make sure it can be serviced. You can see here that it can. We're doing it through the use of a fund, which is not affiliated with my family office other than we're managing the fund. But the fund is a collection of now 13 investors, the major banks in Wichita that provide access to low-cost capital, enables us to turn around and loan money to a venture like this at a 5% rate. We're going to buy that rate down by 1% for the first 5 years through philanthropy. So the actual net cost and interest expense will be 4%, which shows here how the loan then services the debt and pay down. It'll be paid down over 20 years like any typical mortgage would. Actually, it's scheduled over 30-year amortization with a 20-year bullet. On the next slide, is there one more slide?
There's a bar down there.
No. Gotcha. Wanted to show you some marketing analysis that we did. If you go out and look at the homes that are Section 8 qualifying now, that are being marketed in the community, we want to understand what kind of additional capacity this would add, and whether or not it was duplicative, if you will, neighborhood by neighborhood. Of the 132 units that exist today that are being marketed, 80 of those are multifamily apartments, so that's kind of a separate category altogether. 12 of those are townhomes. And then the zip codes we're targeting, there are 10 in 67214 single-family residences that are currently being marketed, 5 in 67208, and so forth, 2 in 67209, 1 in 67216, 13 other. And when you look at what we're proposing to purchase here, you can see that it stacks up pretty nicely. In the 67219 zip code, we're proposing the purchase of 6 single-family homes, and there's only 2 available today for lease in that entire zip code. In the 67216 zip code, we're proposing the purchase of 1. There's 1 existing for lease, and we know that ours would be a 4-bedroom, 2-bath. The other one's much smaller than that. So kind of a different class of stock. In 67208, we're proposing the purchase of two more. There's 5 existing for lease, but we'll have 2+ baths in each of ours, and the other ones don't have that. So that'll be, as you know, having 1.5 baths or more is a big deal for most families. And then the only place where there's a certain amount of overlap is in the 67214 zip code, where there's 10 existing for lease. We'll add 4 more to that inventory. We think we're going to most likely have the nicest stock in the entire community, with the goal of, as you heard from Kevin's, taking this all the way down to the sticks and rebuilding it. These properties need it. You'll see that we have fully costed based on the square footage estimates that you saw. But, you know, we're here to do it right. All right, thank you. You have any finishing thought? Oh, Guy.
My name is Kevin Butler, Butler Co-Custom Development. I have my bachelor's in construction management from Central Connecticut. 14 years of experience in residential and commercial. After I graduated from college, I worked in the real estate development industry around New York City, Boston. Ended up in Wichita after serving in the military post that, and I've been renovating and building here in Wichita since 2017. Just last year, I completed the new construction of 2602 and 2803 East Mossman for Kevis and Hope Homes, and that was a really big success and kind of led us to this point here. We're looking at doing a lot of renovations. So just to reiterate what everyone said, we are taking this all the way down, full demo, full environmental, new MEP systems, exterior refurbishment, and really just trying to build the best product that we can while still being conscious of the market. So I believe that's it.
Any questions to the board?
Just double checking on clarification. On 67214, you said you would focus on curb appeal and landscape. That doesn't mean less work inside, it just means additional work to the exterior.
Yes, additional work.
Just clarifying there.
That's a good question, but yeah, additional work, but all of those will get beautification and curb appeal all 13. But that one needs a little more attention.
That's why the emphasis on scattered sites.
That's part of our partnerships. We were initially looking at that whole area off of 25th from Pyatt, Ash, Madison, Spruce, that whole, and being in partnership, we want to be in collaborative partnership with others and showing others that we can work together. And with Habitat wanted to do more of the buying part, the home ownership piece, that would look great because it makes that whole community looks like a home ownership neighborhood. So everybody in that neighborhood would be owners. And with scattered sites, it's easier to lease. And so we want to make, but in that leasing process, we have a wraparound service, a part of the home ownership aid program that as they're leasing from us, we're educating them through our classes called Getting Ahead, Bridges Out of Poverty. It's a whole other class where you're teaching them how to stay ahead. And then if they eventually become homeowners, we can then have escrow in that whole rent that they can eventually buy. But our main focus was how do we work together with Habitat, who was mainly really focusing on that one area while we would then go out and look at the scattered homes.
But Kevin saw this to add that, you know, our goal is to not quit after doing these 13 homes. You know, our vision is for 67214 to become one of
Grab the mic just for people online.
Yeah.
Thank you.
our goals for
It's off.
for each of these zip codes to become one of the nicest neighborhoods. They're obviously not going to be Lake Point when we're done, but one of the nicer neighborhoods in the entire community. There's no reason why it can't be like that if these homes get rebuilt. And so by having scattered homes that we're working on, it gives us 13 different blocks, 13 different neighborhoods to have more of an exponential hopeful impact. Where once you start refurbishing, then the neighbors around you take notice and want to be part of that betterment, start taking care of their own properties better. And we'll help them with that as well. But that's our goal, is to really to create exponential impact through doing this in 13 different places.
So I noticed that you also mentioned in the in the presentation that you're looking at, as you do the wraparound services and you provide the financial literacy, does that, and you giving folks the opportunity to purchase those properties, how does that work when there's a 15-year commitment to?
Good question. That's about how long it takes to become a homeowner when you're in that position of your choice. It takes a while because we're talking about building up credit score. This is not an overnight happens no, this takes a while. And then some may not do it. And not all of them will be for home ownership. This is for those who we find that they can become homeowners. But our real goal is to, again, tackling this homelessness problem, the affordability problem, getting people on about your choice, which is part of that 15 piece that you're talking about. So yes, we're locked into the 15 years and we can't sell those until those 15 years.
But you might have a renter in there for 5 years, and then if their lot in life improves and they want to go into a better place, they move out. And then we'd be obligated to, and we would encourage that, would help people do that. And then we bring in a new Section 8 qualified tenant. But we realize we have to be obligated to do this for 15 years.
To add one more element, because it's a really good question, I thought of it earlier as well. We're going to continue to build houses. And some of the houses will not be in this program. They'll be the ones that you mentioned that we built already, the 2 houses. And so as we build our inventory of affordable housing, we'll help them go into one of those houses if they're open at the time. But our commitment is to build everyone out of where they are and grow them into an opportunity where they can buy. And if in this case, we have a commitment, so 15 years is the rule, right? So we'll keep it as is for the 15 years, but we'll look at other properties that we build in the future or the ones we currently own.
But the reality is this is part of the CDC, which is not for profit, these homes are. So the commitment by building in the CDC is that the commitment to affordability and community development is forever. Because the properties are within this entity.
So from the funding perspective, if they did, do they have to declare, I mean, from the beginning, it's going to be a rental and it's going to be for 15 years and then, but no provision to transition them over?
There is none in the current program plan. No provision for converting over.
Okay.
That's part of it being in a CDC, we're required to maintain it consistent with the purpose of the CDC.
However, the Housing Choice Voucher Program does have a homeownership component that could potentially come into play.
That's it. Thank you, Sam.
Well, and that's what I was.
That's
Okay.
there's a component, but we don't go in like, hey, we're gonna be a homeowner, but we want to make sure, because part of our passion, and my passion personally is that, yes, we want to lease, we want to rent, we want to help people in the process. How do we make our community better? We do that by making people better, that they'll get to a place where they can be on their own and to progress up. But you don't just sell a house if they're not ready to stay there. You still continue to use that house for the next tenant and to grow them to a place to the next. But if they like where they're living, they enjoy it, they've been there 15 years, and they want to go through the homeownership 80 program, then yes, we want to help them be on their own. And we move that to a stable place for the next generation that makes that neighborhood and community even better and stronger.
If there's an economic gain in year 16, for example, that profitability will stay inside the company and go towards building more affordable housing. This will be into perpetuity.
Do you want to just comment? I appreciate seeing you come back with, I like the speckled approach, the looking throughout it's particularly when looking at rentals, being able to transform those whole blocks is great. And we do need some of that, especially when it comes to rentals. So I really appreciate your proposal.
And having said that, I'm already flipping houses. We say flip, but we're doing something that's not part of this program that we're doing on our own. And I love it because when you go in, it's called the weed and seed effect. My police part of me is that when you go in there and you start planting seed, you make others want to plant seed. So people see what you're doing in those neighborhoods, those particularly scattered, then therefore the neighborhood, people in that neighborhood are on that block. They want to make their homes better. So they start taking care of their homes better, which makes that property and everything goes back up. So it's a win-win for the community and people can see it.
Thank you.
For your presentation. Next is Wichita Habitat for Humanity. Well, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for the opportunity to be able to present. My name is Danielle Johnson. I serve as the Executive Director for Wichita Habitat for Humanity. I'm Kimberly Crabtree, the Finance Director. And unfortunately, while we see Lori's name on there, Lori Walker, our Program Director, she is not feeling well today, so our trio is now a duo. But I do want to make sure that I have Ann Patterson, who is one of our board members. She represents our board and ensuring that we are doing everything above board. So thank you all for giving us the opportunity to present today. That being said, just a brief kind of summary of our presentation. We'll talk a little bit about our mission, vision, quick history, and then we'll go into the work that we would like to do in what we're calling Rock the Block 219, focusing on Ash, Pyatt, Minnesota. We'll go over vision plans, some numbers, and leave some opportunity for our Q&A this afternoon. Again, we'd like to share that our vision is a world where everyone has a decent place to live. Our mission being seeking to put God's love into action, Habitat for Humanity brings people together to build homes, communities, and hope. And you can see in this photo, this is our partner family from last year, Ms. Nicole. Her home was built in what we're calling Rock the Block Soci. It was a 7 home project in South Wichita. And she has an incredible story. I won't go too in depth, but at one point in time, she had lost her trailer and had to quickly move her family forward and was able to get into our program and now is a homeowner. The single-headed household worked incredibly hard to ensure that she could get the stability for herself and her family. And so we're so grateful to be able to work alongside our partner families, and there's no shortage of these stories in our community. What I like to tout is that Wichita Habitat for Humanity is backed by a larger affiliate. We're a global organization with history and understanding and expertise dating back since 1976 across the country in affordable housing solutions. So we're excited to be able to lean on that background and the opportunity to do that work in this community, at least since 1986. We have provided affordable housing solutions across our community. We like to share that we're a little bit of an octopus. I heard this from another executive director, and I love to continue to say it. Some folks know us from the new home construction, but we're really leaning into our home rehabilitation, the gut rehab that we're entered in right now with a block of 16 homes on what we're saying is Rock the Block Pyatt. Aside from that, we also do home repair. We've been doing that a little over 3 years, ensuring that families have the opportunity to continue to stay in their home, maintaining that affordability. Oftentimes, some of our more seasoned folks in our community have fixed incomes. So what does one do when they're trying to stay in their home and keep that family ancestral space and being able to pass it down? We also provide the wraparound services, so homeowner and financial education. That's really the most important part of what we do is walking alongside our partner families so they are prepared to be homeowners out the gate when we go to our dedication and hand them their keys. We do affordable housing advocacy, so we work alongside electeds at every level to ensure not only are we tangibly building homes and that there's affordable housing stock, but policies are also enacted and dollars are available to continue to do this work across the community. We're most excited about our volunteer engagement because that oftentimes introduces folks to communities that they would not otherwise enter into. And so we have that opportunity as well. Affordable mortgage origination, so we're a bank of sorts, a 0% interest mortgage. I don't know anyone else that's providing that. So that's really a trick to our trade. And then the social services piece, continue to walk alongside our partner family. And then we have our restore, which is like the cross between Goodwill and Home Depot without the clothes, we like to say. It's an opportunity for folks to recycle, but also maintain that do-it-yourself projects, affordable paint, affordable new flooring. So our partner families can keep up with their homes as well by shopping alongside us with the restore. So again, that's kind of the octopus arms that you see with Habitat for Humanity, but what have we been doing as of late? Well, as of last year, we sold about 15 homes to our partner families, again, having that
opportunity to own safe, affordable housing. And then when we look at our home repair program, we did about 30 of those homes. So our impact truly is about roughly working alongside 50 plus in our community. And that means a lot. The average cost on the home repair side is about $15,000. We're doing major repairs. We're seeing an aging housing stock across our state. And so making sure that those homes are still available are going to be important to us. You can kind of see a before and after, and that kind of is a showcase of what we'll be doing or what we have been doing currently on Rock the Block Hyatt. Since 2014, we've really been in the 214 area zip code. And when we think about that kind of first area that we got into, we were really looking at 13th to Hillside, 9th to Grove. That first street really was just what you see to the right, blighted, dumped areas, folks just kind of not caring. I know at the time, Councilwoman Lavonte Williams stated that they felt like they had been looked over as a community. Since then, we boast over 130 homes in the area, particularly when we think about what has been poured in. We've poured in about $15 million to increase what these homes look like, putting partner families in there with home ownership. And that's really what the community is asking for and looking forward to. And so that kind of showcases what we have been doing in the area since 2014. If you're curious about how to get into the program, this is what we look at when we look at qualifications. A need for housing, ability to pay, and willingness to partner. We're working with those really between 30 and 80% of the area median income. What we find is folks are living in homes that have a lot of problems. Oftentimes people think that it's just in third world countries. No, look no further than your backyard in some of the homes, the dilapidated homes that our own community members are living in. Overcrowding, spending way more than 30% of their income to ensure that they can keep their housing. The financial stability, I shared the 0% interest, but what we're finding, I'm doing a little bit of data digging for us, the average income of our Habitat home buyers as of last year, they're sitting at about 52.52% of the area median income in this community, which means that gross income is about $41,994 for a family of four. That is who we're serving. And we find, again, if they were trying to get in on the kind of what's happening in the community right now, they would not be able to get to be a homeowner, right? They just would not have the opportunity to call home their own. We also partner alongside our families, and they do about 250 if they're a single head of household, or 400 sweat equity hours if they're two head of household. And that really puts the skin in the game. They're helping to build their homes and the homes of others. They're taking courses. 40 of those hours are strictly education. They get a one-on-one budget coach, so they're prepared to make those on-time mortgage payments. They understand we don't want any additional fees, and that includes just the opportunity to engage in their neighborhood association and really understand what they're doing in their community. And so when we look at Rock the Block 219, we're excited to look at 12 new homes and potentially building a new one. We'll have 2 additional homes that we build for this year. And so we're excited to really look at continuing to do the work. And what we're saying again is Rock the Block 219. I'm a visual learner, so this is some information for you to see. Currently, we're in Rock the Block Hyatt. So the orange highlights the 16 homes that we are currently working on. We're in the demo phase now, so we're certainly having that experience put under our belt. And then when you go a street over, we are looking at the ash lots in blue and some on Hyatt and a few on Minnesota. So we're really excited to be able to continue the opportunity to do home ownership in the area. Having listened to Northeast Mel Air, which is a neighborhood association, we believe in going alongside the community and understanding what their actual needs are. And these are the things that they have said. And so leaning into that, we're looking at if we're able to move forward and get this RFP, that would be about 60% of the homes being homeowner occupied. So a good mix and blend to what's already existing. Having had some conversations with residential housing solutions that are already there. We don't have much of a relationship with large at this point, but looking forward to speaking with them as well. It's important, you heard Kevin talk about kind of what we talked about. We got with a number of the organizations prior to entering into the potential of another RFP. We want to be great partners and stewards amongst those that are already doing the work in this community. And when we think about fostering greater stability, pride of place, when we come into a community, when we come on the block, that block changes and transforms. And there's real pride there. And we want to be able to keep up that opportunity and that momentum in this space as well. When we think about the different renovation phases, I want to kind of speak a little bit. Obviously, there's some asbestos abatement. We're in the demolition now. We're taking the homes down to the studs. We want to ensure that our partner families have lasting affordability, and we're putting them at home or into something that's going to last. And when we think about removing the vinyl sides, the soffits, the fascias, right now we're addressing the water and termite damage that we believe are probably going to be in all of the homes. So we're in there now, just trying to co-create that environment with our partner families and the partners around us. So when we say gut rehab, we mean gut rehab. This is some of the photos where you can see right now what we're facing, getting down in there, the termite damage, the water damage. We're thinking about safety. We're thinking about health, long-term affordability. We don't want to put our families in and have to turn around and do these quick fixes or lean on our first year warranty, if you will. So just being able to engage is going to be really important.
And that brings us to our third phase of renovation with our subcontractors and our licensed trades. They're tackling things like our HVAC, plumbing, and electrical. Then we bring back our volunteers for our phase 4 finish, which is where we can do things like trim, flooring, and paint. And the Habitat mission is more than just paint and nails. It's truly about bringing community together to build a stable, better, healthier, more resilient future. And while we are not a custom home builder, our partner families do get to select multiple aspects of their new homes, including cabinets, countertops, and appliance options. They also get to pick their paint, flooring, and lighting. As Daniel mentioned, our RFP is for 13 of these properties. You can see here that Wichita Habitat's total investment for these 13 properties would be about $2.8 million with an anticipated total sales of $2.1 million. The direct mission delivery gap would be funded by the City of Wichita subsidy of about $486,000 and additional program fundraising and funding. You might be asking yourself, how can we propose a gap like that? And the answer is that because Habitat is committed to delivering a home that is safe and affordable and provides a true opportunity of family in our community to build a stable future. With a mortgage payment of $680 a month for a 3-bedroom home, our families can afford to take care of their home, their family, and thrive in their community. And once all the paint is dried, we get the amazing opportunity to celebrate with our partner families, all their hard work that has brought them to this moment. After 250 to 400 hours of sweat equity, they get the keys to unlock their new home. Something that most of them never thought was probably possible. Maybe you have been to one of our dedications and you've seen the joy and the smile and the tears, or maybe you got to hear the child's laughter as they're showing off their picture. It's always a great reminder of what opportunity we all have to be part of the process, part of the solution, and part of building a community where we all have a safe, affordable place to live and call home. Wichita Habitat builds homes, community, and hope. And our vision, our dream for this neighborhood is to go from boarded up and broken down to backyard barbecues and games of tag. On Hyatt alone, we have 16 families, including 31 children, that will be able to come home. They won't wonder where they're going to live next year. They're going to know because they will be home. So again, we're excited because we are in the work right now in Rock the Block Hyatt with the 16 homes. Just to kind of share again, we believe in partnerships. That's listening to the community that's already in the area. That's listening to the business owners. It's listening to those around that's going to create this opportunity. So right up the street from this opportunity or development is Gordon Parks. And we had an opportunity to meet with the principal, LaTanya Kennedy. And when these homes came offline, she lost some enrollment. Just reached out to her most recently and said, we're looking at about 31 kids. Now we don't know how, we got to go back and look at how many are going to be school age for them. So looking at that, they are K through 6, but there's an opportunity. They are excited to see us come in.
And they're excited to see us continue to move forward because there's those great partnerships. Again, speaking with Ajay Bennett, the president of the Northeast Mill Air Neighborhood Association, already in talks with them to see if they would be willing to hold their neighborhood association meetings at Wichita Habitat for Humanity, a building that's not going to be even a mile away from this area that we're already working into. So when we talk about wraparound services and working alongside the community, we mean that. We're excited to work alongside Wichita State University because what we know is home ownership stability creates long-term opportunities in our schools. That looks like good attendance. That looks like high graduation rates. That looks like post-secondary opportunities. So we'll be working alongside Wichita State to get the data in place and tracking the students that are going to the surrounding schools so we can have even better numbers. So it's not just a home for us, but it's truly homes, communities, and hope through building successful partnerships and engaging with the partner families that are going to be living in this community and making that economic development impact, making a pride of place impact. That's the larger story. And we're so proud to be able to walk alongside folks that want to do that work. Thank you for your time, and we're here for questions.
I don't really have a question. I just appreciate you all looking to partner with other organizations who are doing the same work, and partnering with surrounding entities and institutions. It speaks volumes. And then the fact that you all are doing rehabs. I'm curious, well, I do have a question now. I'm curious, for the homes you've already begun to rehab, have you found the need to just tear down the whole house and rebuild?
Yeah, not yet, and that wasn't an option on these particular homes either, but what we know is we're having to go through and replace roofs because some of our, when we're thinking about affordability and insurance, these roofs are going to be 11 years old this year, and we want to make sure that our homeowners are able to get good homeowners insurance that's not exorbitant. So some of the pieces we're going to have to go back through and beef up a little bit. So we are finding that, but we're going to do what we need to do because when we initially came together to do this work, we wanted to go after all 40. That was part of our 3 to 5 year strategic plan almost 2 years ago. Then we saw all the restrictions and said, you know what, that's ambitious, let's do 16. And now we're back to be able to come back and open this up. I apologize. We also have, these are some of our sponsors or partners in the work, and that looks like them putting volunteers in the community. So we're excited to, again, walk alongside these folks that want to see Habitat succeed in their communities. And we're just excited to be able to continue to do the partnership and the engagement within the communities. Okay. Oh, sorry, I would like to invite you all to our Rock the Block Hyatt ribbon cutting. And I will make sure that I get some of those invitations out to you all. We would love to see you all out. We're looking at Friday, April 25th, 8:30 Little Coffee and Community. 9 will start the program, but we really want folks to see what's happening in the block. And so you all are invited. Thank you.
Thank you again for your presentation. Our next presentation is from Noble Investment Properties.
So good afternoon, everyone. My name is Clinton Noble, and I'll be brief, but if you guys do have questions along the way, please let me know. So about us, so Wichita, the agenda. So about us, then I'll go through the HUD Fair Housing Marketing Plan that I've developed, then the comprehensive proposed development project that I have for the projects, conclusion, and then Q&A. So again, if you guys have any questions, by all means, let me know. So who is Noble Investment Properties? So managing partner is me, Clint Noble. So born and raised in Wichita, Kansas. Graduate of Wichita Heights High School, go Falcons, there we go. Real estate portfolio, consistent property in Kansas, Oklahoma, and Texas. I've been an entrepreneur, volunteer, business owner, father, husband, and a Christian. So I'm going to give you a little bit more detail about myself and what I want to do. So, and what I am doing currently right now with the city of Houston, and if I say Houston again, my apologies. So I'm working on multiple projects. So the city of Wichita. So I currently purchased 3 houses. I guess it was, man, last year, I don't even remember when, probably sometime in late summer, I believe. So the houses are on Volusia. So I currently have about 5 houses right now. So 1700 block of Chautauqua, and then I have one at 915 Harding, and then the 3 that I just purchased from the city, 1258 Volusia, 1338, and then 1431. So in a nutshell, what I wanted to do, and I live in Houston, and I'm gonna be very transparent. So I live in Houston, and so I've been away from Houston probably for about 30 years. So I have aging parents that live here in Wichita. And so what I am doing is making some major investments because this is going to be where I retire. So I've been very blessed and fortunate in everything that I've done in corporate America, and then also being an entrepreneur. And we were one of these families that needed some affordable housing. So it touched me with everyone's presentation that we're all aligned and doing the same thing. We want to make sure that we provide affordable housing, either for renters or for people who are looking to purchase homes. So saying that, I'll kind of get into the crux of what I'm looking at. So creating affirmative housing, fair housing marketing plan for the city of Wichita, housing and urban development. Program involves outlining strategies and methods to ensure that housing opportunities are accessible for all individuals, particularly those who have been historically underrepresented or discriminated against. The plan will focus on promoting fair housing practices, reaching out to underserved populations, and ensuring that housing market efforts comply with other guidelines. Below is my plan for the 2 houses under this initiative, with the goal of about 150 homes over the next 5 to 10 years. So that's my plan. So very ambitious, yes. So I'm putting my money where my mouth is. So what I'm doing, I'm looking at, and just to give you an overview, the 2 houses that I'm currently looking at right now is 2319 and 2320 North Prince here in Wichita. So both 3-bedroom, 1.5 bath, I believe. If memory serves me correctly, approximately 1,000 square feet of living space, 6,000 square foot lot space. And these houses are close to Wichita State, 2-minute drive, a 14-minute walk, and a 4-minute bike commute. And these homes are intended for low to moderate income families. So the general goal is to reach out to potential buyers, renters from various demographic groups, especially for those who have been affected by discrimination in the housing market. And the reason I bring that up is because it happened to me. So again, I'm all about equal opportunity, but again, I just want to make sure that, I highlight that. So the minority groups, Black, Hispanic, Asian, Native American, and other racial minorities, disabled individuals, I see there's a huge disparity there also. And then families with children, then low income household as well, the LGBTQIA plus community, along with veterans and homeless populations that is very near and dear to my heart. So our marketing strategy, and I'll kind of give you a little bit more insight and detail. So currently I manage my properties through a property manager that is a large property manager that has a huge portfolio here, not only in Kansas, but in Oklahoma and also in Texas. And so what we do is when we're reaching out to different various groups for renting and also for buying purposes, we make sure that we put it in newspaper, magazines. If and when we're not getting any hits on that, we look at local television or radio. Online platforms has probably been our best with affordablehousing.com and some other Zillow, Realtor.com, Craigslist, etc. Community organizations, nonprofits. My uncle is a pastor, Earl Burkhalter. So, we will be working within the community to make sure that we shore up some of the deficiencies that we've recognized. So, also other outreach events, open houses, community meetings, virtual tours, meeting, etc. I think it's important, and like I said, all of you guys have probably said it or probably think it, but I think it's important that, one, we go into the neighborhood and we show that, yeah, these neighborhoods can be revitalized. Again, out of transparency, I used to live at the 1700 block, excuse me, on Erie. So yeah, I'm putting my money where my mouth is, and I used to live there. So of course I want to see these communities revived. So affirmative action, some marketing materials. When we get to that point, if we're not getting the hits on the houses, we're putting together marketing material, fair housing statements. We are equal opportunity housing. We provide houses to everyone. Right now, you know, we haven't had to have, you know, due to, you know, people wanting to live in our homes, we haven't had to go out and do heavy media advertising or anything like that. But again, social media campaigns from Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, et cetera. Then language access. If we run into customers who have a language barrier, we want to make sure that we provide literature for them as well. I have made sure that not only my GCs, but also my subcontractors have literature and information, if and when possible, to let the future tenants know what we're doing to the homes, or if there's special needs or things like that they need for the homes. Partnerships with local schools and universities. We want to work with Wichita State University also. And then USD 259. My mom was a nurse for many years within the school district for USD 259. So again, have a lot of contacts within the school districts and also Wichita State University to again partner up and hopefully provide some affordable housing for those who are in need. So documentation, we make sure that one, we document who's applying for our homes. We want to make sure that, you know, again, we're above board, make sure that no one has any issues getting access to our housing. We will start tracking that data. And then if there's any information that's needed by HUD, we will most definitely provide that. Fair housing, training, we want to make sure that all of the folks who work for me understand the rules and guidelines behind that for the affirmative action, for the affirmative action goals that are set forth by HUD. Excuse me. So again, we want to make sure that we have access to homes that are disability access, and also veterans. You know, my grandparents, they're deceased now, but that was one of the things that was lacking when they were looking for housing. We wanted to make sure that we had disability access along with veterans, and then evaluation effectiveness. You know, potential applicants, we want to make sure, one, we reach out and give them what they need to show up and apply for homes. And continuous improvement, we seek feedback from our tenants to make sure that we're doing the right thing, and we want to do the right thing by them as well. So timelines on these development and marketing materials, it's about 1 to 2 weeks. And then when we do our campaign, once the house is ready, then we host open houses. Then we monitor the responses. We look at demographics, and we monitor all of that that's coming to us. Then we finalize the application process and then get the tenants in the house. And so this is the first conclusion. So our marketing plan, I'll go over that here in just a second. Says this plan aims to ensure the city of Wichita's HUD program reaches a diverse group of individuals while adhering to fair housing laws by employing inclusive marketing techniques, leveraging community partnerships, and ensuring transparency and reporting. And then Wichita can demonstrate its commitment to providing fair housing opportunities for all. So I had a lot of slides, and I do, but again, it was just a lot of information that I just wanted to make sure and share with you guys. So long-term, 5 to 10 years, the vision is to, the vision of our company is comprehensive affordable housing development is to create sustainable community-focused housing that meets the needs of a diverse range of income levels in the city of Wichita. This project aims to enhance affordability, accessibility, quality of living for residents, while also contributing to the revitalization of neighborhoods and the overall economic health of the city. the goal is to provide affordable rental units and opportunities for home ownership, with particular focus on low and moderate income individuals, families, seniors, and others. So again, told you a long-term strategy, very aggressive strategy is purchasing about 150 units, anywhere from 1 bedroom to 3 bedrooms. The folks that we are targeting are low income to moderate income, with the area median income being less than, and I don't have the numbers right in front of me, but based on the HUD limits as well. So we want to make sure that we provide affordable housing for seniors, make sure that, again, you know, simple things like grab bars and just wider doorways, things of that nature is something that we're trying to provide also, not only for seniors, but with tenants with disabilities. Home ownership, so total that we're looking at purchasing over the next 5 to 10 years is about 50 homes. 2 to 3 bedrooms is optimum that we're looking at. And again, homebuyer education is something that, and I think some of you guys have mentioned that as well. Of course, we want them to progress to the next stage, not only being, you know, want them to be lifelong renters. If so, then that's their prerogative, but we want to make sure that we give them the opportunity for home ownership. And so with that being said, oh, that's later in my slide. So, so the strategy, I'll get back to that here in just a second. So our strategy for unit selection has been in the area 67214. So density considerations, so it helps with my overall ROI when we're going in and doing remodels and gutting these homes and ensuring that one, we put brand new AC units, all the AC ducts, brand new plumbing, brand new electrical panels. Yeah, we're basically, we're going through and making these houses almost brand new. So community neighborhood outcome, we want to make sure that we revitalize the underutilized areas, focus on the vacant houses that are in the area. And all that's going to do is enhance public safety, which is a good thing, especially for the inner city communities. We want to make sure that it's a safe place to live. Then community engagement, again, we want to make sure that we're active. And once I retire from doing some things I'm doing in Houston, again, I'll be back here in Wichita, helping in those efforts. In terms of helping folks who may not have the necessary means or ways to get information for housing. So post-acquisition strategy, community partnerships, again, I said, working on websites, social media, and then referral programs. So the best form of reciprocating information is word of mouth. So I've always been a true believer, if someone is looking for a house and they had a pleasant experience, and then they're going to reach out to our team and say, hey, look, you know, you guys provided a very nice home for X. We are looking to have a home as well. So house counseling, so I have a team that does the pre-purchase counseling and then also post-purchase counseling. And so I think one of the things that is super critical is credit repair. And I know that was mentioned a little bit earlier. Super important in terms of building credit and how do they build credit to acquire homes. Something that someone on my team is very proud of doing. And additional services, down payment assistance. We'll work with folks who are looking to purchase homes. We have banks and other lenders who can, make some very attractive loans available for down payment assistance, and then emergency home repair funds. We work with a lot of subcontractors within the city of Wichita to keep their costs low. Again, so once they purchase a home, again, providing a low mortgage payment, and then also the maintenance and upkeep on their home. We'll work with certain contractors. Job training and education. My background has been in corporate America. I've been in corporate America now for 30 years. And again, education, sometimes it's not, what you know is who you know, but again, information is the key. So pointing sometimes people in the right direction. So for renters, what we want to do and what we're looking at is, one, we want to make sure that They have energy efficient appliances to help reduce their utility costs, energy efficient homes. So we're going back and replace windows, et cetera. And then private backyards and driveways, and then proximity to public transportation and essential services, which is also needed. For home buyers, essentially, we're doing the same thing. Private backyard driveways, reduce utility costs, and then also access to public transportation. All right, this is my final conclusion, I promise. So this proposed affordable housing development will significantly contribute to the city of Wichita by providing quality, affordable living options that cater to various household needs. The development will be a catalyst for neighborhood improvement, creating jobs, fostering community engagement, and offering resources for residents to achieve long-term financial stability by focusing on the mixed rental and home ownership units, coupled with comprehensive housing, counseling, credit repair, and other services. This project will serve as a model for sustainable community development, and this is what we want to do long-term. So at that point, I'll conclude. If you guys have questions, I didn't have any numbers that I was going to put up here, but if you guys have questions, comments, please ask.
So you're requesting specifically for 2 houses in this round. Is this just indicating that you're hoping to do more in the future?
That is correct, yes. So I chose those 2 houses just in respect. So when I'm looking at different homes, I try to keep them very concentrated. So the last homes that I purchased from the city of Houston or city of Wichita was right there on Volusia. So the 1200 block, 1300 block, and 1400 block Volusia. And so my contractor, my subcontractors, my property management company, all the folks that were working basically were within a 3-block area. And so the homes that I looked at here in Wichita was the 2 that are on print. Not to say that that's the end all be all, but those are the ones that we're looking at as of right now. Any other questions?
And so basically, I noticed the amount that you're asking per property seems to be a lot less than what some of the others are requesting for that property. Is that you're going off of your rehab cost based off of the other projects that you've completed?
Yes, it is. So the cost associated, and so the partners that I work with, some of the subcontractors, I basically committed to them X number of homes. Actually, out of transparency, I told them within 10 to 15 homes within the next 2 to 3 years. And I said, with that, we made an agreement. I said, I need these prices for this type of rehab, with cost of inflation increase, et cetera. And I said, if some things get just totally unproportionately expensive, then we'll adjust it at that point. So yeah, that's how I derived it at the cost. So I'm trying to keep all my costs low. So again, we can pass that on and hopefully purchase more homes from the city of Wichita. So that's our plan. Any other questions? So thank you very much. I appreciate your time today. Thank you.
I do have a question for you. Sorry.
Yes, ma'am.
Not as a board member, but as a clarification. In your application on the tables, you indicate a rent of $14.40, which is actually the payment standard for that particular zip code. But in the application questions, you indicate $1,200.
Yes, it went down to 12. I believe it was 1220. So in 2024 it was 1400, and then it was, and I'm just going by the voucher base. Information that I looked online. So it went from 1200 down to 1200 or 1220 or some of the sort.
And you are taking into consideration the utility allowance that must fit under the payment standard for that?
Yes, ma'am.
Because I did not see a pro forma on this application, which is a required element.
Okay, I'll get with my team and get that over to you. Any other questions? All right, thank you very much. Thank you for your time.
The next presentation is large enterprise.
Good afternoon, everybody. Good to see some familiar faces from last time, and wanted to just introduce Large Construction for those that might not be familiar with us from the last round of request for proposals. So Large Construction is a general contractor. We partner with a lot of Wichita subcontractors. As I go through the presentation, I'll list some of them. But we were awarded 11 homes in RFP 1, which we're extremely grateful to the board and city staff for that. I'll talk a little bit more about our progress on those homes in just a minute. But so we started investing in Wichita several years ago. Prior to RFP 1, we had approximately 25 homes in Wichita. The majority of those were housing choice voucher tenants. It's all for rent. The majority of our tenants were housing choice voucher holders. Affordable housing is extremely important. As I've over the last year and a half, I've watched several city council meetings, and one of the most prevalent common themes of those is that affordable housing is extremely important to the city council. There have been a number of initiatives that Sally has put forth in front of the city council. She's very busy. And one of them has been this affordable housing fund. And with you, the board, have the opportunity to execute on a lot of the city council's proposals. So for us, and for everybody, affordable housing comes in many different forms. As I mentioned, large enterprise or large construction focuses on for rent affordable housing. Some studies or urban planners, you'll see different various studies, but for the most part, most of them center around a balance between home ownership and for rent when trying to achieve optimal community services. And that generally relates to a rental base of 30 to 50%. It's not a hard and fast rule, but what matters most is in ensuring that the housing options meet the needs of the population. And for us, being in the for rent space for affordable housing, we see that inching more towards the 40 to 50% range. One thing is, after having been here in Wichita for several years, there is a large demand for affordable housing here in Wichita, especially for rent affordable housing. So for us, it's not just about the numbers. It's about the people that we help. The heart of large construction and large enterprise is the heartwarming work. I guess portion of the work is helping people that might need a hand up. And so here's a couple of our homes and a couple of our tenants. This is Kenyette. She lives on Munnell, one of our houses on Munnell. Here in this home that we rehabbed, she has 4 kids. The other one is Shantae. She's actually a model for the Housing Choice Voucher Program. She was on Housing Choice Vouchers as she was going to school. She was a veteran. She graduated from school, got a job as a surgical technician at the hospital down in Derby, and was phased out due to income. And now she's looking to purchase a home. So it's stories like these that really propel us and our mission forward as we look to serve the Wichita community and try and help supply more of the affordable housing component to Wichita residents. So as I mentioned, we were awarded 11 homes in RFP 1. 7 of those homes were in the Northeast, 5 on Ash, 1 on Minnesota, and 1 on Madison, and then 4 in the Southwest off of Haskell and St. Clair. This just kind of gives you a little bit of a timeline. As I mentioned, we are general contractors. We do not contract out with third parties. We do the work ourselves. That's actually part of the reason why this presentation might be a little dull. Doesn't have a lot marketing fluff on it, because I was neck deep in working on the Ash homes last week, actually the last 2 weeks. But this gives you a little bit of a timeline of how we work on homes. We closed on March 13th, which was last Thursday, 2 Thursdays ago. We started swinging hammers that same day. Started demo, electrical, plumbing on all the Northeast homes, which is where we're focused right now. On that very next Monday, all the demo was done for the Northeast homes. The exterior electrical was done, and we repiped the complete home with PEX for home one on Monday. That was all complete. On Tuesday, we were texturing, we were prepping for paint, we were priming, and we were painting, all on home one. And then the next day, Wednesday, we were installing flooring throughout, and then we completed the repipe of home two. The next day, Thursday, we were installing kitchen cabinets, countertops, showers, tubs, vanities, plugs, switches, lights, smoke detectors. All of that was installed. And then we were patching, texturing, priming, and painting on home two at the same time. Repipe was complete on home three that day as well. And then all of the homes were demoed. Southwest homes were demoed that day as well. On Friday, we just did finishing touches, doorknobs, door stops, medicine cabinets, appliances, all were done in home one. Finishing touch-ups on home one as well. Vinyl flooring throughout was installed on home two. Patch, texture, prime, paint, complete on home three. So we do a thorough job with our reconstruction and rehab contracts or projects. We took out, a number of drywall throughout the interior of the home. If we encounter any termites or water damage or mold, it's treated. If it's extensive, then we bring in third parties to do remediation. But we had, I don't know if any of you drove up there recently, but we had probably 20 people working on, 2 homes during this week to get the first home ready to go. So 2608 North Ash is kind of serving as our model home, our model unit. It's about 90% done. We're complete ducting, complete plumbing, complete electrical, total, all new. New furnace, new air AC condenser, although we're not going to install that until a homeowner is ready to move in. So it's a pretty extensive rehab that we're doing, and we do it pretty thorough and pretty quick job. So here's pictures of just the progress as we went through. This is during the demo stage. A little bit of demo as well. Some bathrooms, we're removing all the tubs, all the fixtures are going, it's all brand new. There's one of our demo crews, Wheat State is who we used for demo. They're a local Wichita contractor. Some more demo pictures, lots of demo pictures. There's a lot of demo going on that week. This is Ben Ballinger. He's our electrician here in Wichita. He made sure that all the exterior electrical was all ready to go so that Evergy could turn power on the homes so we could work. Another picture of a local Wichita logistics company delivering one of our many deliveries from the local Wichita Home Depot stores. We clean them out of a lot of their product in order to supply our supply house. 2637 is serving as our supply house for all of the Northeast homes. So you'll see one of our crew doing some electrical on that supply house. All the packages and deliveries happening as we go through. There's different rooms for different trades. Installing the tub. And then we get to installing the luxury vinyl plank or luxury vinyl tile flooring, and also installing the kitchen cabinets, all Quaker style. LED lights throughout, all interior lights are the LED fixture that you see here. Installing the flooring. before and after pictures of one of the rooms, another one of the rooms, kitchen, bathroom. Before I move to that, so we are keeping all the boards up until we have the unit ready to lease. Plus, once we remove the boards, we will have to replace or repair most, if not all, of the windows. Just because there's been, various broken windows throughout, as we've noticed. But that's the RFP one. So for RFP one, and the reason I'm mentioning all of this, just to get to know who we are a little bit better. The last time was kind of let's see how they do, and we wanted to kind of give you a progress report. This is who we are. This is what we do. RFP one, Wichita partners are listed here. We State did our demo. Ballinger Electric's our electrician. Lane Construction did part of our demo as well. Quality Heating and Air is a minority business enterprise. Flores Drywall and Handyman is helping us with the construction. They're a minority business enterprise. Stark Plumbing, Jason Dahl Appraising, AAA Portables, Tammy Walker with Better Homes. And so First National Bank is who we worked with on this first RFP. On the second RFP, we're in discussions with Intrust Bank, a local Kansas Wichita bank. And then obviously Home Depot has supplied all of our materials as well. There's 2 Home Depot stores here. We know them very well. And we've purchased all our product through those local Home Depot stores. So just to kind of give you a sense of who we are and what we've done. So with this RFP2, we have proposed on 37 homes to get 28. When RFP1 came about, we actually were going to propose on all 63. Unfortunately, we were limited to 16, so we proposed on 20 to get 16 and ended up getting 11. We're requesting $40,000 per home that we would apply towards the purchase price. We have debt financing in place, similar debt to what we used the last go around, where they would provide 80% of the acquisition plus rehab cost, and we would self-fund the remaining 20%. My partners and I, Brandon and Spencer, who you met last time, we self-fund all the construction. There's no investors, there's no other partners. We provided you with our financials. We have the financial wherewithal to do this. We were able to close RFP1. We can close RFP2. As I mentioned, we are our own general contractor and can move quick. The homes awarded to large enterprise would be rehabbed and rented to tenant-based voucher holders. One of the reasons we wanted to participate in a large way on RFP2 is so that we could take advantage of economies of scale. I did mention we have a model home in Nash. We have a supply house in Nash. And so now some of the things that we're proposing on are in that Northeast area. However, we were a catch-all for RFP1, and we realized that we may or may not be a catch-all for RFP2. And so we have some exceptions. This time around, we actually provided a list in priority. If we were to be awarded anything, this is kind of our priority list. Simply for economies of scale, we're already there. We would already have the crew and supplies and materials there, models there. And so we would be appreciative to participate in any way up in the Northeast still. But then as you move down the list, you'll notice that we've proposed on the scattered properties. And then also we proposed on the Southwest properties that we have for down in the South. So anyway, I guess in closing, before we go to questions, I guess the one thing I just want to leave with you is, again, we're a general contractor. We can execute quick. You want to sell homes, we will purchase those homes. We will rehab those homes at a high quality and lease those homes out to housing choice voucher holders or tenant-based voucher holders, because that's who we are, that's what we do, that's what our mission is. So with that, I'll open it up to questions.
So we are limited to 28 rentals, is that correct?
Yes and no. Let's put it that way. The first time around, we did project-based vouchers, which operate a little bit differently than tenant-based, because at the time we were able to issue new vouchers. Right now, we don't have the ability to issue new vouchers. So this time around, that's why we've put out the ability to use tenant-based vouchers, which means the majority of people who would be moving to these units are people who are relocating, or the few specialty vouchers that we are issuing, such as the VASH program, which unfortunately doesn't tend to be larger units, tends to be smaller. There are sometimes. We had said 28 because it was half. We really want to have healthy neighborhoods that are not overly rental, and that's why we put 28 out there. We could potentially go higher than that, but as a group, as the board, would want to make recommendations that aren't putting more of a burden, the rental burden in a neighborhood.
So I'm curious, since you're requesting 28 and we have other proposals for some rental, would you, I know you kind of ended up as the catch-all last round. But would you be interested in fewer than 28 if we wanted to spread some of that out?
Absolutely. That's why we approached it differently this time around, realizing that there might be others that, are participating. Yes, it's not an all or nothing type of thing. That's why we proposed on, hey, if you guys are gonna, do what you did last time and we get, whatever, then here's 37 that we would be interested in. We'll take 28, we'll take 10, we'll take 15. But with that, we also kind of gave a priority list this time where we didn't last time, just because we're in certain areas and we want to try and leverage the economies of scale that we can achieve by already being there. So we realize there's a lot of great developers here. They're not all going to go to us, but if we could get, a handful or so in the Northeast, just because we're already there, that would be great. If not, there's 37 we proposed. So.
Okay, great, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you for your presentation. Our final presentation is Imperial Capital Group LLC.
Okay, it's me again. You might thinking, okay, what's going on here? And then similar presentation. Okay, I am part of Beacon Property Group. Okay, I mentioned earlier that I team up with MCT and Beacon, right? So I'm a part owner on Beacon, and San Pedro Capital Group is kind of my baby, right? This time I'm a little less nervous, so I got time to breathe and to get inspired by the amazing panelists here and love to learn from them. Again, San Pedro Capital Group is still new. I mean, probably about 2 years old. I started San Pedro Capital Group in our city with affordable housing and development, and then that moved me to Wellington, the same with affordable housing in there too, more like in new builds, those things. My background, I'm an engineer by degree. I'm a petroleum engineer by degree. So all this kind of got into turn when how I moved to Wichita is because I met my beautiful wife and she is from Wichita, born and raised in here. But I wanted to give you a little bit of this background because I think I kind of really didn't get to mention this. And then now you're thinking, okay, why do you here do this? This time I got to, because I find that there is a tremendous need in affordable housing, whether if you're going to do rentals or whether if you're going to sell, right? Even with 56 houses that you have here in the RFP2 and the RFP1, really, you only do a dent on the crisis that exists currently. I mean, it's not really, you don't really, fix the problem. But I think having the effort and the ability for these developers to really tackle, combine efforts makes a difference. So for this particular project, I team up with Francis and John Bauman. They own ICT lending and Reliance property management. So we're not, we're not part of, we're like a joint forces in a way. But the idea for that is like, they have over 2,000 doors. They do Section 8. They didn't know about kind of really the need that there is. So I got to talk to them. And they really focus on a different area, but they have the big packet of Section 8. And again, they have the big misconception of, of the vouchers, and they have misconceptions. So I almost have to educate them on kind of really the great, input that they will be doing if they really do something like this. So after discussions, they were all in and they were really excited, and they really know a lot of the numbers that on the needs for Wichita. So, even here they also have a purpose to really, help the underserved, but at the same time, they are more providing the capital to do some of these projects. The proposed work for these 17 properties is mainly in the Haskell, and then these are like kind of bigger homes. They're like the 4, 5, 6, and the 1, 2, 2 bedrooms homes, and also they're scattered in other areas too. So the idea behind the selection on this is kind of really based on the data that I was able to get from Reliance. Reliance have about 2,000 properties they currently manage. And then we're able to gather some of the numbers from the Section 8, the housing choice, and kind of really trying to spread out pretty much how we're going to focus on serving the community. On these 17 properties, we're going to pretty much divide and conquer. So Reliance has 7 different crews for construction that they own and they operate, in addition to the investment side that they have. So the capital is going to come strictly, from them. There's not going to be banking, so they're highly liquid. They've been doing this for about 10 years. And that's kind of whenever we decided to join forces for this. The completion time is estimated to be about 8 months or less. And, they move at a high speed on them just because all the 7 crews they have, they're in-house. So we expect a high turnaround for this property. Okay, so whenever we did the scope of work on these properties, clearly some of these houses, we got the average on roofing 18 years. So, when you say the roof, obviously not, right? So you're going to go ahead and get a new roof. The same thing with HVAC system, 11.5 average on the houses that we selected in here. And the air condition, some of them are non-existent, but the ones that were there, which is very, very few, and probably about I think it was 11 years on the average of kind of the age of that. We're going to do the water heater replacement, full replacement. The average age on the houses that we selected were 7 years old. And obviously, we don't have to really mention the cosmetic and pretty much what it goes into getting some of these houses. The Reliance, they focus on high quality renovations, which you wouldn't expect any less, because really, it was great to hear large corporation and not only large corporation, but it was great to hear how they are gathered these homes and then they were awarded these homes, but also he can come and prove and show it to you guys. Hey, this is kind of what we're doing together, right? And even though we don't have nothing to show in terms of like the houses that were awarded RFP1, but it's a great, really learning lesson to say, okay, we don't want to do a poor job, because if there's another round and we want to participate, you're going to say, well, you did a horrible job the first time, right? So then we're not going to do it. So the idea for this is longevity. And then you might be thinking that, okay, so you're a young company both, but yet, the teams that we surround with, we also have the financials very strong, professionals. We do a lot of the things on the side too, in terms of we have our, in my case, I still have my W2 job, and I run large really projects in the oil field. So really we can do a parallel on some of the things that we do into some of these projects, teaming up with the right people, understanding kind of what the need is. So the roof replacement, HVAC system completely changed, plumbing and electrical completely new, and obviously premium flooring and paint. The flooring in some of these houses that we evaluate, a lot of them have hardwood floors. So we still debating, okay, are we going to do a refinish on this hardwood, or are we going to go ahead and do just a LVP on all of them, right? Regardless of the direction that we're going to go, it's going to be a high quality. In some cases, we might have to gut some of these houses. Some of them are not, in great condition. So some of them are going to be gutted. Not all of them are going to be gutted, but some of them are going to be gutted. So the final message on this is I'm not really going to tell you again, because pretty much my core mission is the same as Beacon, and that's kind of how we came together. But for San Patrick Capital Group, really my heart is in serving and be able to do this as a community. But I want to deviate a little bit more, and I want to really point not only to you guys, but the people that are really applying for the RFP to, hearing, hope and humanity, and just the way that you guys serve the community is inspiring. And it really gets you emotional, because I think there is so much need, and so little people are doing something to do a change and to make a change. So regardless of what stage you are, regardless of what happened here, I want to thank the city of Wichita, and I want to really thank the efforts that all the the Hope Large and humanity, Hope for Having for Humanity is putting. Because it's really, for people like me, it's like a learning lesson. Okay, man, I want to aspire to get to that, right? I want to be able to do this. I want to be able to be, I'm not going to claim here, sit here that I know everything. And a lot of things it's been learning for me, and then doing these things. And you guys are an inspiration. So thank you, and thank you for the city of Wichita. You guys have any questions?
Thank you.
Thank you for all of your presentations. That concludes all of them. So as far as moving forward with any voting and discussion, that'll be for another meeting. So that concludes that part. I'm gonna go ahead and move into other business and open discussion and ask the board if there's any other business, or anything else you would like to discuss.
I know Rebecca was having trouble in the app. Is anybody else having trouble in Zoom guys?
I fixed it.
Okay.
Actually, I do have a question on that. Is there a way, I'm just curious, to better prepare to facilitate conversations later? Instead of me having to go in and look at what everybody's trying to bid per property. So then we have an idea. Is there a way to break that out and compare per individual property?
Just on price?
Well, just on the different aspects because I know some of them are they're bidding on multiple properties. So then it's
Yeah, we're looking at it property by property. So if you're looking to ask staff to put together a listing of each property and who's bidding, whether it's rental, home ownership, and their bid price, is that what you're looking for?
Well, yeah, I just was curious if the Zoom system was able to do that. Because I was trying to pull reports from it, but.
One thing we had last time that I think would be helpful, that I was gonna ask for, is a spreadsheet that showed all the, did you go? It showed the ones that they were competitive, so we could look at it that way.
And I can send it to you all first, once it's complete, just to make sure we can disperse it. But yeah, I have to start on my spreadsheet.
That way we don't have a scratch pad and we're like, how many of them?
Yes.
It was helpful last time. I used a similar spreadsheet, so.
And then as we go through, is there any historical data that we have right now? I mean, because I know some of our participants, I was not involved in that first round, so this is new for me. But do we have, from an accountability standpoint of seeing where, I guess they just started working on their project, so there's really not.
Right.
What about from a financing perspective? Did we have any problems, or some of the organizations, or maybe provided some of the properties and wasn't able to come to the closing table, or have
So far, everybody's been either successful closing. We only Residential Housing Solutions has not closed yet. And we're just waiting for a closing date from their financial institution. So we're not expecting to lose anybody out of that first round. As you've heard from both Large and Habitat, their work is definitely underway. In the app, actually, if you unfilter, you'll be able to see all of the previous applications and the ones that were awarded if you're looking for any details on those.
Okay, yeah, I'll have to, okay, maybe afterwards.
It makes it a lot to look at, though, I'll be honest with you.
I will say I'm having trouble in the app still, where if I click round 2, everything disappears.
Yeah, I wouldn't click, don't click round 2.
So how can I filter it to only see this round?
There is, which I just got ahead of myself. In the filters, it's undecided, right? I think. Yeah, have it just do undecided.
Okay, thank you.
Because all the previous round were either approved or declined, and so undecided, we'll just leave you everything that's from this round. And the opposite, if you wanna.
So one other question that I had is from all the properties that were put into the package, is it my understanding that the properties that nobody wanted, those will end up going for sale on the open market?
We'll have the opportunity to either come out with a third round RFP as some funding is going to rotate back into the program, because even though we're giving $40,000 in subsidy, the property appraised at 58. So 18 is going to actually come back in. And as we start to build that, there's maybe an opportunity to put those more, not just the 8 that we didn't get bids on, as well as additional properties as we get approval from HUD to dispose of additional properties back out for another round.
Okay, so just for clarification purposes, and I'm sorry if I'm asking questions, I don't want to waste everyone's time here. But the properties that were just recently placed on the market that were issued for sale, what is the difference between these properties and those properties? Were they from different
application groups to HUD for disposition? So our first application was all on the open market. Second and third were part of the design in the Affordable Housing Fund plan, the first 66 units. Then when we only sold 33, we had the opportunity to pull in some more units from a further approved application to HUD at that point. So that's how they've come to this far. And then the city was on an obligation deadline for the ARPA funds. And actually, in my opinion, it is going to work out really well for us that we flip the script and use the ARPA funds to purchase the properties and then able to provide the credit. Because as you've seen, we only were able to get to closing on the first round in the last month because of the HUD delay in releasing the declaration of trust on those properties. Because we flipped it around and used the Affordable Housing Fund to purchase, we already have those declarations of trust. So once we get once the council approves, it will really be up to the developers how quickly they want to get to closing after that, because we'll have nothing else holding up our timeline.
Okay, and that was based off of the meeting when we met in October then, when we made the change. Okay,
Yes.
just trying to make sure
Nope.
I'm squared away on this. Okay.
I'd just like to clarify, and you may have already answered it. Last time, we weren't sure, like, let's say, for instance, we want to say no.
Mhm.
And those properties will be recycled, right?
Correct.
We're not required to just select.
Correct.
Okay, so then that leads me into another question. So as we go through, so let's say, for example, the packages, I know the one company declared, hey, we'll take whatever off of that list. And I'm assuming that's going to be the same case with the others, since it's a per property, not a per package deal.
That's why we asked for the applications per property.
Okay.
So that we didn't have ones that overlap, so we couldn't award it all to another developer.
Okay, gotcha. Sorry.
Nope.
Just making sure.
Any other questions, concern from the board? I know it's a lot. It is a lot. You have a lot to look through between this week and next. I think also I think having a week between presentations and discussion is probably you can take back what you heard today, take another good look at the applications, and then come back next week ready to discuss them.
And as changes are made in Zoom grants, as the applications are assigned to specific applicants, I'll send out emails to all the board. I know it's kind of, that's a lot to look at right now with everything is undecided and you're having to scroll through. So there's been some issues with Zoom grants today. I know a couple of you had reached out to me. It's been in and out for me too, but we're working on getting that cleaned up.
Yeah, because I feel like almost like a spreadsheet. I mean, being able to filter and possibly if that's not too hard for staff to. Surely you guys already do.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I know. And it is limited.
You got the data guy over here. I mean.
You can pull some information out of Zoom grants, but it's not that clean to look at. So yeah, it's just best that we have a Excel spreadsheet. So I'd be happy to share that.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Any other business discussion? A motion to end the meeting?
I make a motion that we adjourn the meeting.
A second.
Meeting adjourned. Thank you, everyone.
Homework.
Really enjoyed your presentation there. I think so. The work I do in my daytime job is making labs a lot from CDC. If I can even sometime learn about what you do.